Good morning, Welsh milkmen, and welcome to a pretty different video. Today we're going to have a behind the scenes look at Slow Burn, which was an animation that I made last year, and it took me 8 months, and you probably saw all my streams about it. So yeah, I was editing every day, working my legs off, and I found like 20 renders on my hard drive from various points in the film, and I figured I might as well just show you because they're just sitting there like collecting dust, like physical, I don't know, like in my case, there's no dust filter or something. Let's take a look at the very first render that I did. I'll just, I don't know, press play and use my eyes to visually see what I'm looking at. Why is it frozen? So Infinite Films is the production company name that we just made up. Like I couldn't think of a name, so who cares? And this is Ray, basically. None of this scene is in the final film. Like we had a time limit of 12 minutes, and for some reason I just decided to make this scene before I even planned everything. So, what am I fucking on about? Like, can I talk properly? I actually took that photo in the background when I was in Italy. I just put it there.
Hello.
Ray, you're late for work again.
Look, I'm sorry my car broke down again.
You're bringing this company down.
Sir,
I cannot have someone who isn't dedicated and willing to provide.
please, I'll be there as soon as possible.
I'm sorry, Ray. You're fired.
So yeah, this tree falling down resembles how life can be crap sometimes, and like I don't know, so could just imagine him saying no or something. Wow, nice eyebrows, mate. Yeah, this is the kitchen scene at the very beginning, which is looking awful. Yep, you can see clothes. I put a clothes texture on the stairs. I put jeans on the stairs for some reason. I couldn't be bothered. Yeah, he's just staring out the crap window at like the crap city, I don't know. And that's it. That was the first render. It's really terrible. Now we move on to the second render, which I did a few weeks later, I think. I don't even care. So I think this is the very first time I actually bothered to animate properly. Like even beforehand, I had absolutely no idea how to animate, so I was just doing whatever I wanted. But well, that's some Pixar shit right there, mate. Oh, I think this is where I added a bit more sound to the film.
You haven't been returning my calls.
And I literally got the worst text-to-speech, and I didn't know how to animate, so I just tilted his crap head for no reason, like staring at some cupboard. Doesn't matter anyway, like no one actually cared. Oh, this is the outside scene, okay. Yeah, so this was the scene after that, and Ray's just sitting on some potato field or something, looking at the sky, his crap hair's flickering, and then he gets run over by like a Ford Transit. I don't even know what it is. It does a drift. Yeah, and then for some reason, like, I put him in this weird pose where he's like double dabbing with his hands, and he's like walking towards his brother, and then and they like collide into each other for no reason. Like, that's the worst animation I've ever seen. Alright, I don't even know anymore, to be honest. That was also cut from the film, if you saw the final version, so I guess rip that one. So here we have the introduction of John, which is Ray's brother, but the text-to-speech is so bad that you can barely understand it.
How's it going, Ray?
Good luck with that.
You're usually awake at this hour. You haven't been returning my calls. Anyway, happy belated birthday. I got you
When
something.
you rotate your crap
Just
neck.
checking up and all. Maybe I should come over tomorrow. Catch up?
No.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot. What about that job you were telling me about a few months ago? Did that ever work out?
What? Why did I use the same model twice?
No, it was all bureaucratic stuff.
Yeah, that happens. So, you like it out here?
Yeah,
Funny you say that. What would you say if I told you I could get you a job in the city?
Okay, just randomly zoom in on his upper shoulder and his arm, like clipping through the chair. But
well,
okay.
I mean, it sounds great, of course. Thank you. Really. I just need to think about it.
Think about what? You can kind of see how it looks in the last scene, because that shot is quite similar actually. But yeah, that was it for the second render. Hope you liked it, because I didn't. So So now we get to the longer conversation where they actually talk properly, and I actually bothered to use a different model for John instead of just copying the other one.
What's wrong with you?
Oh damn.
You're isolated, Ray? You're alone. Look at you. Am I your first human contact in months? I'm offering you a new life.
Why is his hair spilling over his forehead like paint?
How can you live in a place so alive and not go crazy?
I have a meeting soon.
Live action.
I'd better go. Here, take my coat. Ray, you want to change your life? Then stand up.
What the fuck was that? Okay, now we get to the dream sequence, which is in the final film, but not as long as this. So here Ray is sleeping with his wife. He then gets up to go to work, but I couldn't be bothered to remove him from the bed, so I just duplicated the model. So, like, who cares anyway? Then he goes to the window. It's not even properly bolted onto the building. Like, there's no roof anyway. He's staring at the shit window. It's not even cleaned properly. So what you're seeing here is the beginning of the train scene. And Ray is going to work, and he sees all these clones just standing there, and they're kind of meant to represent like everyone is the same person in his mind, and he sees them all as business people going to work with briefcases and whatever. So yeah, he gets on the train. I don't know what he does. Like, I don't know if he paid for a ticket or if he used a top-up card. Like, I don't know. And yeah, then everyone's just like staring at him. That one's staring at the window for some reason. Like, it's really interesting because well, it's not actually, but anyway. It really sucks because I spent like 3 weeks trying to make this station, and I even went to a station to get like references, and then it was for nothing, so what was the point? Then he like walks through a tree, and I don't know what he's doing. Like, he doesn't even care about life, he's just sliding across a station. His shit train is not even on time arrives. And, this scene was meant to be before the final train scene in the actual film, but I cut it out, so like, I don't care. Okay, so moving on, we're going to the rooftop scene, which is looking completely different to the final version because it was just at the beginning. And I kind of wanted to show Ray seeing himself like on the edge. So in this version, you see Ray like looking at him and thinking of, you know, doing what he does. But then, I don't know if I just didn't have time, but I just left it like that. So now we move on to a scene which I also didn't use at all. Like, I just don't use anything. And Ray is in some street, like, don't know what he's doing. Yeah, then he just decides to walk in an alley for no real reason. Like, he has actually no reason to do that in any sense. Like, so for those who don't know, this entire scene was cut out.
When I met this woman,
You don't see it in the final film, so you won't know what's going on. Basically what happens is, he sees this woman.
she wasn't like the others. No suit, no briefcase. She was like me.
Her boss is firing her.
And you know what she told me?
Yeah, so she goes through his body for no reason. And then he proceeds to do a 358-degree turn counterclockwise to look directly at her. And it is no explanation why, it just ends like that.
Yeah.
And that was the end of the render. So, like, I didn't know what I was doing half the time. I was just doing whatever, but, you know, it worked, so. So now we move on to the scene where John leaves the house at the end of the film. And he's just sliding along. That's possibly the worst shot I've ever done. Like, everything is wrong in that shot. Like, the lighting's shit. His hair's flickering. He doesn't even like, look normal. But he looks at the city, and then I presume he looks at Ray. I don't know why, but he just turns his head. And then what's meant to happen is Ray just appears in the car and they both drive off. But I couldn't be bothered because I went to bed at like 4 AM. I just left it blank. Put some nice music. Yeah, his hand's just sticking out the car. Who cares? He's not even driving. He's just like looking straight. And then he collides with the backdrop. This is where I get quite creative with like camera shots. Like, you can see it pan down. But I didn't use any of this like in the final film, as I said before. That's another. That's a terrible shot. Like, fucking hell, mate. Oh my god, that's. What kind of shot is that? So I would say up to this point, yeah. Why am I talking like that? I don't know. So I would say after this point, this is where you don't recognize anything in the final film. Like all of this is previs and sort of just so I can get a feel for the film. But now we move on to some stuff that I definitely did use and you will recognize it. So let's go and look at that right now with our retinas. So he wakes up. I still left it in a T-pose with his arms. I don't know why. I really like that shot actually, but I don't think I used it for some reason. And that one. Yeah, and then he walks towards the window and looks out, and the camera sort of pans back, and then you see like some other dude in his bed, so it implies his wife is not faithful, and that's sin in the Bible. Test 12 is a similar variant. Ray is a sad man in bed. Look out for any framed photos in the film, because I took all the photos you'll see. Basically, I couldn't be bothered to go out and take photos, so I just went on my hard drive and just found the first thing I saw. So you'll see like some mountain and like a brick in one of the photos, and like a can of baked beans for some reason, like I don't know. Now we get to a scene which you will probably recognize. It's the rooftop scene where Ray goes to the top and sees some other dude on the edge. You don't care about life. Yeah, that's physically not possible in its current atmosphere, but I guess I'll leave it. Let me just read my script here. I don't even know what I'm saying. What happens basically is the guy on the edge throws it off, and you'll see like all these papers flying out in a future render, and it's meant to resemble that he's so done with life that he just decided to throw his briefcase off. Like his briefcase is his work, and he just lobbed it over the edge, like down a building site somewhere. And then we move on to an unused alley scene, but you will probably remember that I did a stream once where I was making the building on the right, like this whole alleyway scene. I'm pretty sure I did use it in the final film, but I was going to use it for this scene, which ultimately I cut out. In the next version, I just stole a picture of Canary Wharf in London and just put it in the background and added some crap filter on it. Yeah, and then the woman turns around and walks towards Ray, and I really wish I could have used this scene because it was so well thought out, I think. What's the point? So now we get back to the kitchen scene, and this is the point where I actually got quite serious with music, and I found some pretty cool song. It's like some True Detective style drone that I think fit quite well with the whole scene. So now we're back to the train scene, which has been updated a bit more, and you'll see a shot here that I really wanted to use in the final film, but I didn't. So the train goes into the distance and it sort of meets at one point and fades into like some IKEA chair in a conference room. But I don't know why I didn't use it. I don't know. Terrible dialogue and shit acting, but who cares?
Why is it empty? Why is your briefcase empty?
Don't crapping know. Tough words from the boss, which is quite relevant in today's economy, so it makes sense to use that. Now we're back to this shot again, which I didn't use, so what was the point? I don't know. Ray is now sleeping with a blanket, which is quite a luxurious thing. Like on his bed, I just put like random items, like a stack of bills and like a watch. Like, why did I do that? And yeah, he wakes up. You can see I got quite serious with the animation in this bit. Like, it's quite a bit more fluid than before. Turns and breaks his neck, like he snaps it. Then he just like quick scopes her. And that's it, he goes to work and dies, I guess. I don't know. So this is the updated, well, office scene with a pretty nice background and totally not stolen because, yeah, whatever. This is the office scene with the briefcase and bit too much blur, but like I actually don't care, so there's no point anyway. And I use the worst text to speech, like it's extremely
How do you feel?
menacing.
I'm fine.
You don't feel angry? You don't feel like punching a... That's how I feel when I have to deal with you.
Now we get to one of my favorite scenes, which surprisingly isn't in the final cut. So fortunately I had to just throw this in like the recycle bin somewhere, like
You
outside.
look at yourself every day and nothing has changed. Because you won't allow it to. Stuck in an endless loop.
So basically what happens in this scene is Ray collapses to the ground and he hears a phone ringing in like a phone box, and it's his boss, and his boss fires him there on the spot. And it's really relatable because that always happens in my life, so like I just have to put it in there for like literally no reason. He also says a bit of dialogue, and here's the script with dialogue. Yeah, just read it. Yeah, then I went back to the kitchen scene. Oh no, I guess I didn't. I just fucking did that. Okay, I guess I'm back in the bedroom. Oh, Vegas crashed. Alright, I'll just go and like jump off a leg. Okay, now I got quite serious with the textures and lighting, as you can see visibly on your screen. Ray sort of looks at his wife, don't even know if she's dead or not, but probably. And now we get to a scene which I didn't even edit before, I just went right into it. And it's the scene where John and Ray have a little talk in some abandoned warehouse somewhere.
You haven't visited in a long time. Did you always think that I would suddenly be okay?
Now, a lot of people have said, is Ray modelled around you? And I'll say yes. Like, you can see the beard and the hair, the crap clothes and the subpar eyebrows. That is all based around me and how I look, apparently. So I think, yeah, I would say it is, so, yeah. And then John gets in his crap unbranded car. Like, I didn't buy a branded car, I'm not going to pay $500 for that. Oh, the tree just glitched, sorry. Extreme walking animation. Wow, I haven't seen this for ages, like.
What do you think? All yours.
Yeah, ignore the really fake flat blazer there. Like, I stole an image and just made it 3D, lol. Then Ray uses a Gillette. Yeah, so he uses a Gillette shaver and he's naked for no reason. I just cut to this. I literally don't know why I did that anyway. They're in an elevator and Ray gets friend-zoned by a Chinese businessman. Then we get to the rooftop bar scene. You can see how it looks here.
Are you angry?
And he then looks northeast, heading roughly 38 degrees left.
No one can feel it but you.
And he blinks once to moisture his eyes, as you do. You can see how crap this software is. Like, it glitches every like 5 seconds. Like, people just glitching in the background. And so now we get to the final render that I did for this whole film, and it's roughly 10 minutes long, so I won't go through all of it, but I'll just show you some of the bits that I did change, because you probably got other stuff to do, like laundry, ironing, washing your shoes, and buying Yankee candles from the shop. Yeah, then I just couldn't be bothered to make scene 3, so let's just skip that bit. So now we get to the scene where John leaves the house again. You'll see it looks similar to the previous one, because it is. So well done. Ray doesn't look like he knows where he is. Like, he looks like he's drunk or something. And then for some reason, like, Element 3D had a bug where it like severed his face off, so you can see that in the reflection there, which is beautiful. And then Ray turns around and looks at his shit house. It's not even been built properly. Look at it. There's an unused tunnel scene which I didn't use either. It's like a transition between the countryside and the city. It sort of goes into there. The only thing I liked was showing the city for like a split second and then cutting to here, which was nice.
What do you think? All yours.
And then John looks like he's about to assassinate Ray in the
This will be
background,
good for
but you
you,
know,
Ray.
guess not.
I'll see you tomorrow evening. I'm throwing a little rooftop party.
Yeah, Ray's naked again for no apparent reason. Then they're in the elevator again, and he sees the man and rejects him for some reason. Then he goes to some random party. He wasn't even invited. He just turned up and went up the elevator there. I don't know why, but I just put a random shot for no reason. Then he looks left for no reason. Literally nothing is explained. There's a guy playing a piano for some unknown reason. Why is he even there? I don't know. Probably didn't pay him anyway. Then it sort of ends there and he dies. That's about it, really. I don't fucking know anymore. I bet I wasn't even recording. Oh, I was. Okay. So yeah, that's about it, lads. The final film is out on YouTube. I uploaded it in July last year, so if you want to check it out, it's right here. One last thing. Remember to update your BIOS version on your motherboard, because it's dangerous if you leave it. Like, security vulnerabilities are rampant these days. You have to, like an Asus motherboard, just update it tonight. Like, get out of bed and do it right now. It's for your own safety. Like, go to your motherboard driver website. Proceed to input the keyboard value for fucking. Alright, I'm going. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.